Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 15 on FanDuel. We're going to take a tournament first look. That means we always have our DraftKings first look. Comes out every Monday. The video is already posted. Go check it out if you would. You probably have already watched that one. We do this video more along the lines of doing a tournament field. The DraftKings video is more of a cash game build. This video is more of a tournament build. So we're going to look at stacking. We're going to bring it back with a player. We're also going to have... to take a look at a secondary stack, 2 players that are correlated without the use of a quarterback for the purposes of trying to not have to hit a 9-team parlay to try and win the tournament, right? That's what we want to do. All the money's up top. We got to try and get ourselves all the way to the top of the list. And the easiest way to do that is by correlating our lineup. It doesn't mean that every week a correlated lineup is going to win, but most of the weeks this year it has on both FanDuel and DraftKings. It's the easiest way to build your lineups that are more tournament optimized. Now, if you're using a lineup builder to build 150 lineups, you set the rules to do that. If you're hand building your lineups for the smaller fields, and if you're a smaller entry player, there's 2 things that I suggest you do. The first thing, either if you're using a lineup builder, enter the mini max games and find out if you're the next great mass multi-entry player, right? They have nickel games, 10 cent, 25 cent, 50 cent games. And if you're using one of the optimizers that we talk about on this channel, the people that support this stream, sites like Fantasy Labs and Daily Roto and rotogrinders, if you use their optimizer, you can enter those games and get 150 lineups entered very easily. Or if you're going to play single entry or 3 max games, enter the smaller field tournaments. FanDuel has some great 100-man fields. I think they're 3 max games for $1, $2. Use these lineup building techniques to try and build yourself a better lineup than the opposition. And if you're somebody who watches these videos every single day, you're already better than the field in those stakes, because most people are just kind of tossing their cash game lineup in. And that's great if you're trying to finish in the top 50%, but you're not trying to capture all of the upside. If you're trying to win all of the eggs, you have to be willing to put all of your eggs in one basket. So we're going to talk about the philosophies to go about this week, and we'll highlight it again on the Top Stacks video on Thursday. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave a reply. All those free options really help the channel a ton, and I appreciate you guys watching these videos day after day after day. You've been amazing this football season. If you want to go a step further, drop into the Discord. There's free channels as well as subs only channels. If you hit that join button, become a channel member, you get a nice VIP badge that will upgrade as you are subscribe to the channel longer and longer. You get some great emotes as well as access to the VIP only rooms in Discord. Go check it out and join our Discord community. 5,000 people strong so far. And let's get to the video. So we always start at quarterback. You can go with the pay up to be contrarian route as always, right? Some of my highest scoring lineups last week were paying up to be contrarian with Patrick Mahomes and double stacking with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And you feel like the rest of your lineup looks a little bit ugly because you've got a $5,500 average remaining salary. But if you want to win tournaments, you have to be willing to get a little bit out of your comfort zone, right? I'm not saying you have to make an ugly lineup. You also don't have to completely avoid players that are going to have a high percentage number next to them in tournaments. It's not something that you need to do. It's more about your cumulative lineup total that you have when you add everybody up. So if you want to pay up to be contrarian with one of these super stacks with Russ Wilson or Patrick Mahomes, absolutely fine. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens' playoff hopes were almost flushed. I'm sorry. Had to be done. Deshaun Watson, little less stacking option unless Brandon Cooks comes back this week. I like him more with Cooks involved. The other guys, we saw the difference, right? Now he's facing off against Indy, who's tough. At least it's an indoor game for them to go against. If you wanted to play T.Y. Hilton coming back, I get it. T.Y. Hilton stacked. If you like the player versus team stats, T.Y. Hilton has completely crushed Houston for his entire career. Kyler Murray going up against Philadelphia. Running quarterback versus running quarterback. Great situation there. The contrarian stacks, obviously, any quarterback going against Atlanta, we've stacked them. So Brady, but it's tough to pick because he's got legit 5-6 options to throw to. So nailing the exact guy that gets him in a stack is tougher than usual. There's clear bringbacks on the team, especially if Julio Jones is out. Jared Goff as well. Everybody goes for the running backs, and we're probably going to end up going that route in this video as well because the running back is underpriced against the Jets because they're favored by so much. They're $5 running back playing at home, blah, 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 blah. but passing games have been extremely efficient against the New York Jets this year, and it's efficiency that really makes you better as a quarterback. Efficiency, not volume, leads to quarterback scoring. Efficiency defined as touchdown percentage. So you don't need to throw the ball 40 or 50 times as a quarterback to have a great day. You can have 4 touchdowns on 25 passes. That's happened multiple times this year and last year. Now, if you get an efficient quarterback who is also involved in a shootout, then obviously that goes a lot further for us. So if you want to play Jared Goff stacks, assuming that people are going to be off of them, or more drastically, Jared Goff double stacks, and they get off in the first half, you're not going to probably get much action in the second half unless the Jets keep pace, and they have not been keeping pace with anybody this year. I think that Goff stacks are going to be less played than normal. But for the sake of this video, give me the rushing floor, the rushing touchdown upside, and the pass game ability of Taysom Hill in this game going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll highlight that game. It's also the late game hammer. Not why I'm going with this stack, but it is an added bonus. You'll always have PMR, and as long as there's PMR, you still have hope. So we're going to go with Taysom Hill here. We got to stack him with one guy. And I'm going to go with Mike Thomas because Michael Thomas is 7,000. We're looking for 2.5x in tournaments from our from our wide receivers and running backs on DraftKings. If you can get 2x, that's great for cash. If you get 2.5x, that's awesome. If you get 3x, it's amazing. Especially from these higher dollar players. So at 7K, with the volume that he's gotten recently, I believe that he's been somewhat unlucky to not get into the end zone with the amount of volume that he's gotten with Taysom Hill at quarterback. Now, Taysom Hill at quarterback has completely crushed the hopes for Alvin Kamara, but Michael Thomas still getting a really good amount of volume, getting us there to the point expectation that we need over these last 3 games, with the exception of the game against Denver, who does have good cornerbacks, and it was an outdoor game, whatever you want to say. But at 7K, I think it's an extremely fair price for Michael Thomas on FanDuel, and we haven't accentuated or capitalized on that touchdown upside as well. And we're going to play Zeus because he's Zeus. He's completely unstoppable anywhere. Short, intermediate, long, end zone, red zone. Don't care. Playing Zeus. 8,500 is extremely tough. At tight end, he is almost $2,000 more than the second highest option. He will still catch a number. I don't think he's going to be lower than like 15%, but he's not going to be extremely highly played. Like, he's not going to be 30 or 40. So we get him at a nice price. We get him at a price where he's going to be held down. And I like the floor here. The floor for Alvin Kamara has essentially been, on a week in, week out basis, what the ceiling has been for most other tight ends. We have a massive amount of targets. They have some history that they could theoretically be chasing, but I think it's too early for that. Travis Kelce could be the first tight end to lead the league in receiving yards. He's just different than everybody else. So you're essentially paying a premium wide receiver price. And if you look at what they're averaging on FanDuel, 8,600 for DeAndre Hopkins in a good matchup against Darius Slay. I said a good matchup against Darius Slay. I said it. 14.65 FanDuel points per game. 15.65 for Calvin Ridley. 15.19 here. 16 for DK Metcalf. 8,500, 17.08. Same situation that we talked about last week on FanDuel. So there's my primary stack. Taysom Hill to Michael Thomas. Bring it back with Travis Kelce. Getting a secondary stack is actually a little bit tougher on this week's slate. I'm sure it will ease up on us as the week goes on, being the COVID year that it is, and players are injured and dinged up at this point in the season. We seem to get wide receiver value every single week that pops on Thursday and Friday, and we'll probably get the same thing that happens to us this week. But early in the week, I want to focus in here. I'm looking for volume, touchdown upside, and really condensed target trees. So Allen Robinson is a monster. I've said numerous times over the last few years, I wish Allen Robinson had an all-pro caliber quarterback. If he did, he might break records. He does not. He has Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles this year, and he's still putting up bonkers numbers. Touchdown, possible 2 touchdown upside. could easily get you 7-8 catches, 100 yards in the works, possibly this week as well at only 7,300. You don't have to pay that 8 to 8,500 for the premium guys, but he's just as good as those premium guys. And then Justin Jefferson, you can go with Adam Thielen here if you want to, pick your poison with one or the other. Jefferson has more big play ability and he's 100 more expensive. I think that they're going to be pretty even in terms of their percent that they're going to be in tournaments, and the Bears are a little bit of a tough defense. More people, I think, not more people, I think, but I think that a lot of people are going to go with Dalvin Cook here to try to make it work in a stack with Allen Robinson. This will be the most common stack, in my opinion, is Dalvin Cook and Allen Robinson in lineups as secondaries, and I'm fine with that. I'm just going to go with Jefferson here, as the primary is going to be on Thielen. If you want to go with Thielen, that's fine. I think Jefferson could get loose here against this Bears secondary as the number 2 option. Now looking at some running backs that we're going to have to play, because we've had our primary and our secondary stack. Can't afford the high price guys because, really expensive players at wide receiver and tight end. Let's plug in just a defense here. Nah, I'm not going to plug them because people are going to re-at me. We'll just plug a defense, giving us 6,100 left. So we're going to have to find some value at the running back spots. The first spot, and there are some guys who are pretty cheap. The expensive guys, I get it. You want to play them, fine. J.K. Dobbins is the best running back on the Baltimore Ravens roster. I can read the replies already, but Al, he's not going to get 20 touches. I know. That's why he's 5,900. If he was getting 20 touches, he'd be 7,500. He has been the most efficient running back on this Ravens team. He has been the best running back on this Ravens team. He has been the best looking running back on this Ravens team if you're using the eyeball test. So the metrics and the eyeball test kind of add up here. They are running a lot of Gus Edwards as well. And you also have with him the possibility that he gets vultured by Lamar. But the upside is tremendous this week for tournaments based on the fact that they're playing Jacksonville and how bad they've been defensively. And maybe we get a J.K. Dobbins long run here. Again, you're going to have to get a little bit out of your comfort zone. Second cheap running back in the case that we have an injury right now to Mostert. If he is out, Jeff Wilson provides another great value option with touchdown upside at 5,800 against Dallas. Another team doesn't really play very well defensively. They've played better recently, but they've played some cupcakes too. And if they get behind against San Francisco, which is a distinct possibility, you have Jeff Wilson in a situation with no other running backs to deal with, being the pounded out guy, as well as the inside the 5 carry guy, and 20 plus touch or 15 plus touches with all the inside the 5 work. Minimal usage in the passing game, but you're never going to get that from San Francisco running backs not named McKinnon. I think he's fine at 5,800, assuming that Mostert is out, and we get great matchups with both Dobbins and Wilson Jr. 6,700 to go. There's a couple of routes you can go in this range. You guys know that I think Kenneth Drake is better than you do. I got the no-way streamers out of the way. I told you that he was a good enough price on DraftKings last week. He did it again. Keeps getting into the end zone. These 4 games are the games that they're not running Kyler once they get in close because his shoulder. We'll see if they let him loose. They did run him a lot last week, but they're still giving those tough pound yards inside the 5 where he can take more hits to Kenneth Drake. Those are the high leverage targets. Those are the high leverage carries. Not being extremely efficient with the ball. Only got 1 target last week. I think that the better play in this range, if you wanted to go with DeAndre Swift, fine. I think that the best play in this range is right here. Cam Akers for the Rams at home. Massive favorites against the Jets. 6,700. We get 3 value guys. We're paying up at other positions where I don't know that everybody's going to spend money because of the fact that we're going to catch a large percent on Jonathan Taylor. We're going to catch a large percent on Derrick Henry. Dave Montgomery's been very good recently against bad run defenses. Alvin Kamara did have a really good game last week in terms of his target number, which jumped again from where it had been with Taysom Hill. But this was also a spot where they were behind a lot. Maybe if they play behind the Chiefs again this week, he will see more than 3 targets in a game. It was nice to see this bounce again. Hopefully it stays there because he is one of the most dynamic backs in the league, and they have not been utilizing him correctly. But I think that a lot of these, and Dalvin Cook, a lot of the percentages got to go to these guys up here, which leaves us in a situation with 3 cheap running backs and spending up elsewhere. The easiest way to be contrarian is if you think everybody's going to spend one place and pay down in another place, do the opposite. Pay up where they're not, spend down where they're not. You immediately have a contrarian lineup. That's still a very solid lineup to play against them in tournaments. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.